Okay, we're going to be taking a look at how to use Revolution Slider. If you've seen a previous video on this that we posted earlier, then you should ignore that one and pay attention to this one instead. It's going to make it a little bit easier, a little more clear for how you need to go about using this. And so we go down here to Revolution Slider, and we click on Revolution Slider. Right now we're using this slideshow called New Homepage, and we're going to go in and take a look at what's there. You click the little pencil to see the slides that are already there, and we have several that are up there, probably a little more than what we need at the moment. These are a couple of older slides that we're not going to pay too much attention to. They don't look great. They were difficult to make. But up here we have this new one for arts and eats that we want to pay special attention to. And so if you want to take a look at the slide, I guess we're already on that one here. We have it down here. It looks nice. We can take a little preview of this here and see that the image fades in. We have these parts of the text come down, and then if you were to click on Learn More, then it would take you to the page that we want to be on. And so everything's wonderful. And so we close this out, and we have this here. So this looks very nice. Let me open this up a little more so you can see the whole thing. This looks very nice. It looks good, it looks professional, but I did very little work to be able to make this look nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to create this same slide from scratch though, so that you can see how it's done, and then hopefully you can pick up on the basic skills needed here, and then we can make it be something that works for you more easily in the future. So we're going to create a new slide. To do that, we go up here to Add Slide, and then we're going to, instead of adding a blank slide or bulk slides, we're going to add from template, and then Revolution Slider has all of these wonderful templates. And we can scroll through here and we can find all sorts of great looks for what we want to do. And in this case, I kept scrolling and scrolling until I found this girl here. And I chose it relatively randomly, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and do this one instead, though. It has the same functionality, but then without having the girl's face that will temporarily show up on the home page. Okay, so we're on the wrong slide. Sometimes that happens. It doesn't always take you to the new slide. I'm not terribly sure why. We're down here, and this is already set up to look like this. Now in our case, we wanted it to be a little bit bigger on the text for where it says Arts and Eats, and we wanted it to be a little bit bolder color, but this would work just fine like this as well. Before we do anything else with making changes to the formatting of the text though, then what we want to do is change out our image, because we don't really want this guy here. We'd like it to be our own thing, and so we have this picture that is of biscuits. It's from Flickr. If you go to Flickr, then you have a lot of wonderful options where you can download images under Creative Commons license, and people can set up their images so that others can use them as well. And so we're not violating copyright to use this. We do need to include somewhere on the website an acknowledgement that we have used this image, and we have placed that on the page for the Arts and Eats program. That's a natural place to put it, and so we have that link at the bottom of that page, and so we're good to go. And then we click Insert, and now we have those biscuits back there. Now we could just do it exactly as it is right now, and that's totally fine, and just replace it with the appropriate text. So then we can say Arts and Eats, and then we can have our text down here, and we'll say join us as we brunch and view amazing art. This is not the one we're going to be keeping. We're just wanting to have some text in there. And then down here, we don't want to read more, we want to learn more. And so now we have all that in there. And we could just leave it like this, and it looks okay. Nothing wrong with it, and you can just leave it at this point, and that's wonderful. I'm going to turn on snapping to layers, that way I can make sure I get these where they're kind of right lined up as we want them to be. And we will just have this right about there. And we could have it like this, and that's fine. But we want to make this a little bit bolder. We're going to choose a color up here, something like that. It might not be the exact color we chose before. We want this to be a little bit larger, so we change the size of the font. And we want to make sure we change also this next box over here. Normally you're going to want these to match up and be the same number. The box right here means font size. This means the line height. If you have the line height shorter than the font size, then it will cut off part of your text on the page when it's actually loading. So you don't want to do that. This should probably be a little bit different size than that. We're going to make it just a little bit smaller so that it stands out which one is which one is the title, and which one is the part with more information. We can move this. I think I'm going to move it over here more toward the center. And we want to add a little bit of a background color to that because it's hard to see right now. So we're going to make the background color purplish color, because that's one of the colors used on the page that we're going to be linking to. And you notice right now there's nothing there. That's because the background opacity is set to 0, and we're going to change it over to 1, and now that does show up. Our font's probably a little bit small, and again we want to match up our font size and our line height, and that's a little bit high now, I'd say, for what we're wanting. And this doesn't look identical to what we did before, but it looks very similar, and we have this set up so that it could look nice. And I would have no problem with this being on the home page. It would look fine there. And so we can see how this goes. There we go. And if we were to click on Learn More, we would learn more. One thing you want to check out, though, this is the desktop view, and over here you have laptop, tablet, and phone views. We're going to go over here, and it didn't carry through the changes. If you start a slide from scratch, then it will carry through those changes as you go. If you go from a template, it will not carry them through from one size to the next. So you'll need to go through each one and change it over to the sizes that you did before, the colors that you did before, and you adjust it as you want. And if I adjust things here, it does not adjust them on the other layers, only on this one here. So if I make this absolutely massive on the size of it there, then I can go down to the next size down to the tablet, and it doesn't apply. I can go up to the desktop, it doesn't apply. It only applies on that laptop view. So you need to take a look at each one, and if they look right on each one of these, they will show up right on those devices when you actually publish this. If you want to make other changes, you can, and there are a ton of features to check out, but right now what I would suggest is just stick to these templates and experiment a little bit here and there as you go, and then you will be fine. You'll have something that looks very nice, you won't be embarrassed by it a bit, and it will result in a slick-looking web page and provide the best opportunity to promote your slides, your events. And if we want to, we could take a quick look at the other options. Let's just take a quick look real quickly at what else we have here. We have options for videos up here, and so we can have video be playing in the background and have text above it. We have some looks that are just very common looks of text in the middle and having a basic title. So on this one here with the Ken Burns type thing, then it would zoom in on that bicycle in the background, and then the text would stay static. You could place the name of the event there and a little tiny description underneath it. Down here then we have some content tabs, and that means that we could have several slides essentially within one slide, and that'd be a great thing to experiment with. For the most part on all these things, you can just go in and you can check them out yourself, and I think you're going to find that these are fairly easy to use. They're already set up for you. You don't need to do anything more besides changing out the content to being content that is reflective of your event, for the text, for the image, and then you will have an amazing slide. If you have questions about this, please feel free to call, text, email. We'd be happy to help out with this issue if there's ever any difficulties. You have so many great options here. They're maybe not always immediately easy to see what each one does, but you can take a look at them and you will be able to find out just by trial and error. If you are going through this and you're creating a new slide, then you want to be sure that if it turns out that what you're experimenting with does not work, then you want to delete the slide when you are done. You don't want it to be left there hanging when it's not the way you want it to be. But we're good to go for now. And if we go take a look at the homepage, we can see that we have this great Arts and Eats slide on there. I think it fits right in with the overall aesthetic of Good Samaritan Boys Ranch. And that looks good. Nothing to be embarrassed about with that at all. And then it moves on to the next slide, and it goes right into the typical content that we have. I'm pausing it, sorry, because my mouse is hovering over it. And we have a nice looking website.